Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing my own version of peach dumpling. I thought about this last night and I thought about how I could put it together, and I'm like, okay, well, let me just kind of make up this dish and then let me just see where it goes from there. But I wasn't going to put the dish online. I was going to go ahead and have a trial run first. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, okay, well, I have high expectations that this dish is going to work out well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it together by recording it. And then if it does work out like I think it's going to, then I'm going to upload it online. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need two 29-ounce cans of peaches, and you want them to be drained. You're going to need 3 containers of crescent rolls. Now this is only if you're going to be making as many as I'm going to be making. I'm going to be making 24. Okay, and it would be 8 servings to 1 can. So if you want to make less than that, then you would get your cans according to how many it is that you actually want to make. You're going to need some Mountain Dew, not a lot, probably about a half of a can of Mountain Dew or a half a cup of Mountain Dew. You're going to need some white granulated sugar, 1 cup, and you're going to need a half a cup of brown sugar as well. This is the drains or the juices from the peaches. You're going to also need that, and I told you I had 2 29-ounce cans, so I just went ahead and drained it over into here. You're going to need nutmeg and cinnamon, and you're going to need a stick of butter. Now I'm going to call, and of course you're going to need the peaches, which I've already drained, and they're sitting over here to the side. Now I'm using canned peaches. Some of you may want to use fresh peaches. You can go ahead, but this is not the season for fresh peaches, so the canned peaches works just as well. So I'm going to show you how to get started with this, and then I'm going to go away and put everything together, and then we're going to move to the next step. This is a relatively easy dish. I don't think that it's going to be complicated at all, and I think that it's the dish that's going to be really good. Now here before you I have a buttered dish. So this is mine. Like I told you, I'm going to be making 24. So this will hold 24. And you don't need that. You can do it, with a lot less, because you may not have, your family may not be as large as mine, and you may not need as much as I need. So I have this fork sitting right here. So I'm just going to use this fork to go over and pull apart my perforated lines, because a lot of times they don't just come right apart like you think they should. Okay, but before I do that, let me just sprinkle, because no matter when I'm doing desserts of this type, I always like more cinnamon and more nutmeg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of extra nutmeg and cinnamon down on these. And the reason why I pretty much knew what to put into this dish is because I know what tastes good in peach cobbler. So if it's good enough for the peach cobbler, it's going to be good enough for this. And I think that this is going to be something that your family would really enjoy. And I am going to try it so you can see, so I can tell you exactly how it tastes once I get through baking it all. Okay, so now I did put a little bit of extra nutmeg and cinnamon, and I would be putting some in the mix that's going to go down to help bring this dish together. But right now what I'm going to do is to just show you how we put this together, and this is going to be similar to the way that we did the apple dumplings. And I know that the apple dumplings is just, oh my goodness, that's just a fantastic dish. So now I have the wider end of my crescent roll. Now what I'm going to do, and that's why I have a fork, I'm going to take a couple of my peaches, and I got quite a few peaches here, so I'm going to take a couple of my peaches. That one was kind of small, so, and use your discretion when you're doing something like this. Okay, so, and I'm going to roll this up. Okay, and we're doing it just like we did the crescent rolls. I mean, for the apple dumplings. I'm going to place it in my dish. Now I'm going to do the next one. I'm not going to put it as close to that one because you do need room for them to rise up and to rise out. So I'm not going to place it as close. And you really don't need to use 3 peaches. You can probably get away with 2 or whatever you think is enough for your family. Then you just roll it up. Okay. Now because this is so long on the end, I'm just going to double that over. And I'm still going to put it right in here. And it doesn't matter how you do it, how you put it in. I think that this dish is going to really work out. And a lot of times if you're used to cooking, you can pretty much tell what's going to go together. So you don't have to really worry about messing up ingredients, because you know what goes, you know, in certain dishes in order to make it taste good. So here I only use 2 of the peaches, but it really doesn't matter because I'm going to do something different with the peaches that I have remaining once I finish this. Okay, and as you can see, I'm not putting it that close together. I'm spreading them out to give them a little bit of room so that they can spread when they go into the oven. Now I do have my oven preheating at 350 degrees, and I'm going to cook this for roughly about 30 minutes when we get, maybe 45 minutes when we get to that cooking step. And you will know when it gets well because it should have a golden brown color. Now, these 2 peaches were kind of big because, you know, not all of the peaches in the container is uniform. So I can just cover it over. I don't want to, I can leave them open, or you can not leave them open. You can use your own discretion. But because I'm going to try to do something different with the remaining peaches, I want to make certain that those don't just fall out of the fold of crescent rolls that I have. Now, 2 more peaches, flip over, and like some of them I put 3 when they were smaller, and then some of them I put 2, and it doesn't really matter because what you want your guests to do, or whoever that's eating this, you want them to get a full taste of the peaches that you have enclosed. Now, I'm going to finish out this because I have 3 cans of the crescent rolls that I have to do. I'm going to finish out this, and I also have some ice cream that's waiting on this because I got it yesterday. I was thinking about it last night. I'm like, okay, I really want to try this dish, but let me just try it, and then I'll post it if it works out. And then I thought, I'm like, okay, I have strong, high expectations for this particular dish. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and make it, and I'm going to go ahead and record this video, and then if it doesn't work out, they'll never see it. If it does work out, that'll be fine. I'm not in the habit of throwing away food, and you all can really tell that when I give you a recipe, it pretty much works out just like I said it does. And if you follow the way that I'm doing it, that's why the tutorial is with it, you'll be able to get the same taste that I'm getting at home. You'll be able to get at your home as well. So I'm going to go away and finish doing all of these and make sure that I get them into this bowl. And then we're going to move on to the next step. But just remember, Chris is making peach dumplings today, and this is my own recipe. So I'll be right back. Okay, now I have all of the crescent rolls wrapped with the peaches, the inside. I have them in this bowl. But now what I want to do is to take my, see my leftover peaches? I want to take them and I want to put them down between the little spaces. Now, why am I putting them down between the little spaces and not just, you know, putting them all over on top? Because I need these peaches to cook. And I don't need them to dry out. And if I leave them on top, there's a strong possibility, pretty much I know, they're going to dry out. I don't want these peaches to dry out. Now, the way I envision this dessert, I want to be able to get a crescent roll and then pick up some of the peaches to go on my crescent roll, and then I want a scoop of ice cream on top of that. Now, what I'm doing now, it went there, so let it stay. What I'm doing now is just making sure that when I pour my liquids in here, that my peaches will also cook. because they're not cooked. And like I said, I don't want them to dry out. So I'm getting all of my peaches in here, and the next step is to put together the sauce for this and to put it together at the stove. So now that I have all of my peaches in here, I'm going to meet you at the stove. Remember, don't put your peaches on top of the crescent roll. Let this go ahead and get a golden brown and let it have a crust to it. Put the peaches in the center so that way they can go ahead and cook as well. So when you get ready to scoop it out, you're going to get some peaches, and then you're going to get one of the dumplings, and I think that's going to be fantastic. That was just a little bit of the syrup that was left. I just poured it in there, and I will meet you at the stove. Okay, now I'm at the stove, and you see my butter is melted. Okay. And I'm going to stir it for a little while. Now to my melted butter, I'm going to add, first of all, I'm going to add my cinnamon. My other pot is kind of burning over here. Just a moment. Trying to get this right. Okay. And I'm going to add my nutmeg. And then I'm going to stir that in. I'm going to add in my granulated sugar. And I'm going to add in my, trying to do 2-3 things at once, my brown sugar. And I'm going to pour in my peach juice. Now I poured in about a cup and a half of my peach juice. And I'm not trying to get cook the sauce until it just caramelizes like. Only thing I'm trying to do is to make certain that my sugars are well blended in. Now I used, if you might ask, why did you use granulated sugar and then you used brown sugar? Brown sugar will caramelize a whole lot more, and I did need a little bit of that caramelization, so I used the brown sugar for that, and then I used the granulated sugar just for the sweetness. And I needed this syrup to do just what it's doing now. I need it to thicken a little bit. And I don't need it to be grainy. I need that sugar to completely dissolve. Okay. Now I've added almost all of my my peach juice, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest. Okay. Now I'm going to stand here and stir this for a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, just to make certain that everything is mixed up together. At the end of that 5 minutes, I'll bring it back and I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, now we're back and I've stirred it, and like I told you, I wasn't really trying to do anything but get everything all creamed up together. I didn't want this to have any granulated sugar parts over in it. Now I'm not going to use all of this juice because I really don't think that I need it, and I'm measuring it off. And when I list the instructions, I'll be able to give you the instructions exactly like it should be, because I would have perfected it. Okay, I'm going to use 2.5 cups of my juice, and I'm not going to use the Mountain Dew. Okay, that's 2.5 cups of my juice. Didn't use the Mountain Dew. Did add a 1/2 cup more of the sugar. Placing it in my oven. let it cook, and we'll see where it goes from there. Like I told you, I had this juice left over, not going to use it, just going to throw it away. It was only the juices that was left from the peaches, and I did not use this can of Mountain Dew. So as soon as it gets ready, I'll get back to you. Then I'll show you how I'm going to dish it up. Be right back. Now I'm back, and I'm going to take this out of the oven. Oh my goodness. That looks fantastic. And if it tastes as good as it looks, man, this is a real treat, I am telling you. I'm going to allow this to cool, and then I'm going to come back and show you how I would dish it up. My peaches got a chance to cook. The crust on here is a golden brown. It's still real bubbly. You can even see peaches in a golden brown from the side. This is great. I didn't throw out my leftover juices because I decided that there's something I can do with it. So I'm going to show you this. Allow it to cool for a little while, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're back, and I'm getting ready to try some of what looks like a fantastic dessert. So I'm going to take out, and this is exactly the way I envisioned that this would go. I'm going to take out 2 of these because I needed a lot of syrup, and I'll show you why. Okay, and I'm going to split this, and then I'm going to take the ice cream, and I'll show you. I'll bring it down front just so you can see it a little better. I should have taken my ice cream out a whole lot sooner, but I didn't. But that's okay. I'm going to put that ice cream there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this syrup, put over my ice cream. And I also have a couple of peaches that I'm going to put down on it. Now that is a real treat. I mean, it really looks fantastic. And what I did was I saved, remember, I saved some of these liquids that was left over. And if you need just a little bit more syrup spooned over there, man, I'm going to enjoy that. I can see it now. But what I am going to do, even though that's hot, I really want to taste it before I let you get away from me. That's the dessert, and it's still kind of smoking hot. I just want to taste it and see what it tastes like. And you know, I normally don't taste online, but since this is my own creation, I am going to taste it. And I hope it's not too hot. Oh my goodness. This one you have to try. It's going to be a few days before I upload it. But man, you got to try this one. This is fantastic. I mean, this is really good. And it's the perfect dessert to bring in the new year. I want to thank you for watching Chris Cook for YouTube. Have a fantastic year, and God bless you all. Bye.